and I need a straight edge. That's what I recommend you use, a straight edge to draw that line. Make sure you use a straight edge. If you do not use a straight edge, you will be able to tell. It will be crooked. So I have a scrap piece of paper here that I use to make markings on. I'm going to put it here, right to the middle. And draw this line. See there? You want a straight edge. It needs to definitely be a straight edge. That bulb is a little off center. It's not straight itself, but I'm going to make the line straight. And you can use almost anything to make that straight edge so that that looks good. Let me see, I have this little yellow. Let me see what this will look like. What happens is yellow paint is sort of quite translucent and it doesn't show up so well. So what I normally do if I'm going to paint something yellow, excuse me, I should have done this, I paint it white first. And that will take care of that, the difference that was lingering there because part of that wasn't there. So I'll just come here and paint all of these. That way it looks the same. So I'll paint all of them white and then I'll come back and paint them yellow. And you can let it blob. Now that's the effect I use on some of the other paintings when I'm doing them. I blob that white so it'll have that 3D effect where it's sticking off the bulb. You can do that if you like. You can blob some white on here. It's going to take a little longer for it to dry, but once it dries, you can paint it. So that's what I think I'll go ahead and do. I'll blob this on. It'll take a minute for it to dry, but I'll let it dry and then I'll come back. Create a 3D effect. If you had glitter glue or something like that, you can do the same thing with that. See how that's sticking off a little bit? Alright, so we're going to let that dry because it's going to take a minute to dry. And I don't want to push it around with the air. I want it to dry right where it's at. Then I'll come back and paint that yellow. Alright, we're back. Let's see if you can see this. This turned out really nice. I'm not sure if you can read that. You see this raised surface? It's on all of them. You put a chunk of paint on there, and when it dries, that is 3D. So this turned out rather nicely. And now what I'm going to do, I can make it gray to simulate silver, or I'm just going to go ahead and put this yellow on there. That way I will have used all the primary colors. And I'll just paint over it yellow, and it's going to pop because I'm putting the yellow over white. It's not that much, I don't need that much, and it's going to really show up. It is 3D. That may be a little too bright, but we're going to leave it like that. Add a tad bit of red to it to make it turn orange on the spot. Now what I'm going to do is put a little red here. It's just a touch. I don't even need that much. As they say, that is even too much. So I may have to add a little bit more yellow. We'll see. The outline. So it looks better with the outline, so I'm just going to take the red off from over there. And sometimes you have to experiment with what you're doing to get the look that you want. So I did 3 different things, 3 different bulbs, 3 different things. And I like what I did here, even though it's a little much. Now I'm going to go back in and add some more. I really just want hints of the outline. And sometimes that's what you need. If a color is, if you just use the color by itself, it's going to be flat. And it's not going to register like you want it to. So, I want you to be able to see what it is. It's little hints of red here and there. I was going for the orange look, so in some areas it looks orange, in some areas it doesn't. But that will work. And that's making the Christmas bulbs. And if you wanted to, you could add ribbon to it. I have one here. This is strictly hand painted. The whole thing is hand painted, and I added a ribbon to it. This is more or less a cloth metallic ribbon, but notice I only did it on the one, not all. It's up to you how you do it. It's better to use the really cheap, thin paper, plastic-like ribbon instead of one made of fabric. But it's your choice. So that's one fully painted with the paints and a ribbon on it. This one I left plain. The background I left plain. But if you wanted to add some color on that background, you could, like I did with this first one. However, just don't add that much. Keep it really, really washed out. Alright, thank you for joining me. Have fun creating it. Until next time.